Which one would you like? Which one do you like, Mr. Priya?
Yeah.
One I haven't chanted for a while. I think I have it here. Madhurashtakam. It's a beautiful song. There, it's page 6. Nugalaka Songbook. All right, gang. Yeah. I'll try to play it really simply. Should I do finger picking or strumming on this? Strumming might be easier for you all to follow. See, if you have trouble following, then I'll go to strumming. Madaram, Madanam, Madaram, Nayanu, Madaram, Lachitam, Madaram. I am Madaram, Kamana Madaram, Muradi Patera, Ilam Madaram. Charitam Madaram, San Madaram, Valitam Madaram. Ita Madaram, Ita Madaram, Muradi Patera Gilam. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Yanam Hare Ram, Sita Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Sita Hare Ram, Jayam Hare Ram, Yanam Hare Ram, Adhurari Jayaki Adhurari Jayaki Hare Ram. Okay. Haribol. Okay. So we should sing another song, or
Sure.
what requests do we have?
Nitai Padakam.
Nitai Padakamala. Okay. That song, the Madhurashtaka. Maybe we should Madhurashtaka. Maybe we should read the translation.
Yeah.
It's about Krishna and everything that belongs to Krishna. His lips are sweet. His face is sweet. His eyes are sweet. His smile is sweet. His heart is sweet. His gait is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness. His words are sweet. His character is sweet. His dress is sweet. His belly folds are sweet. Movements are sweet. His wandering is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness. His flute is sweet. His foot dust is sweet. His hands are sweet. His feet are sweet. His dancing is sweet. His friendship is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness. His singing is sweet. His yellow cloth is sweet. His eating is sweet. His sleeping is sweet. His beauty is sweet. His tilak is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness. His deeds are sweet. His liberating is sweet. His stealing is sweet. His love sports are sweet. His oblations are sweet. His tranquility is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor's sweetness. His gunja berry necklace is sweet. His flower garland is sweet. His Yamuna river is sweet. His ripples are sweet. His water is sweet. His lotuses are sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor's sweetness. His gopis are sweet. His pastimes are sweet. His union is sweet. His food is sweet. His delight is sweet. His courtesy is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor's sweetness. His gopas are sweet. His cows are sweet. His staff is sweet. His creation is sweet. His trampling is sweet. His fruitfulness is sweet. Everything is sweet about the Emperor's sweetness. And that's Krishna. Of course, the word Krishna means several different things. Of course, Krish means to attract, right? And Na means two different things, actually, to negate the material sufferings, and also Ananda is short for Ananda. So by chanting the name of Krishna, which is Namachintamini Krishna's Chaitanya Rasavigra Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukto Binatwam Namanamido, which is perfect and complete and manifests every aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we come in touch with that sweetness. And when we come in touch with that sweetness, then we forget about the so-called what? Sweetness of this world. Which is, that sweetness is like, in the beginning it appears like nectar, and at the end it's like, what? Poison. And Krishna consciousness for us, because our consciousness is jaded, we're covered, in the beginning it may appear to be like poison. And Prabhupada gives the example of someone who has jaundice, No, I never had jaundice, thank God. Some of you may have had jaundice before. You've had it? Prabhupada said, it's true. Prabhupada said that when you have jaundice, sugar does not taste sweet. In fact, it tastes a little bitter, right?
Yeah, everything tastes bad, and sugar really tastes bad.
Is the medicine sugar?
Well, they say, but I don't think that really helps so much.
Prabhupada said.
I mean, that's traditional medicine.
That's the traditional. And if you take it, then after a while you begin to taste the sweetness of it. So in the beginning, why is it bitter to us? Because what? The second verse in the Upanishad, which we're actually studying in my online classes. Anyone know? I mean, it's actually the first verse in the Upanishad, which is number 1, and the introduction is Om Purnamada. But what is the first verse in the Yeah. Because what? Krishna is the owner and controller of everything. And guess what that means? What does it mean? We're not. You're not the owner of your body. You're not the owner of your mind. You're not the owner of your soul. And not the owner of your car either. That's the worst one. The other ones I can tolerate. So, you're not the owner of anything. You want Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosha. And Krishna is also, another problem with Krishna being the center, is that Krishna is giving you a quota. And you want more than your quota. Or you want someone else's quota. I was asked that question online today. What should you do if someone's trying to cheat you? Should you just understand that's your quota to be cheated? And I explained to that person's trying to cheat you out of your quota. And the interesting thing is, when you have a quota, that quota is not meant to be used for your sense gratification, it's meant to be used for Krishna. The example I often give in that regard is, if you're working for someone and you're using his car or the company car in the service of that person, then that car is your quota, but it's meant for a specific purpose. And if you don't use it for that purpose, then you are a thief, or you'll lose your job. So in the same way, Prabhupada says in the purport, we're studying this right now online. It's really amazing to study the Upanishad after so many years. Prabhupada compares that to eating food without offering it first. As the Bhagavad Gita says, you're a thief if you do that. So, in other words, everything, Yat Karoshi Yadishnalshi, Yajahashi Dadashi Yat Yatapashashi Konti Atat Kodishwa Madarpana. Everything is meant to be used for Krishna. In a very practical way. That doesn't mean that everyone takes sannyas or anything like that. It means that practically whatever you have, Manasa Deha Geha Yokishamor, Arvilam to your body, Nanda Kishore. Everything belongs to you and meant for you. My mind, my body, my family, everything I have. All right, should we chant another song?
Yeah.
Nitai Pada Kamala. Okay, that is on page 38 of the songbook.
That's the old one.
Is it the old one?
Yeah.
I can't. Oh yes, the old one. So, okay, sorry about that. Okay, it's called Mana Shiksha. That means the teachings to the mind. Jai Panakamala Oti Chanda Shushi Chanda Ye Chaya Chanda Chanda Jai Panakamala Oti Chanda Shushi Chanda koro dukhi, Nitai bole koro sukhi. more?
Yes.
Two more. All right, what song?
All-nighter.
All nighter.
I'm just thinking today how I was missing your budget, and I was going to write you a letter about it, and then
So what requests do we have? Which one from our songbook?
anything honestly.
I don't know if I have the chords lined up.
I'm thinking something since she sang for Krishna.
What? I don't have that song. So I don't know that song. But all right. Jai Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Okay. That's not as energetic though.
How about Yasamadina?
Yasomati Nanda's energetic. Let's see. Jai Radhe, Jaya Krishna. Let's see what song. What page is that on? Jai Radhe, Jaya Krishna, page 24. Sri Braja Dhamma Mahima. That's the one you're talking about? Okay.
Oh, no. I know, I think she's asking.
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavan. Shri Govinda Govinda Matana Shine Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan. Kalende Japana Jaya Jaya Kishigata Pam Shivata Dwadasakana Chakasavanila Kuila Jinaka Nanda Srinanda Yashoda Jaya Jaya Gopaka Shidamante Jaya Jaya Dena Vatsaka Jaya Prisha Anajaya Kirtita Sundari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Vira So, what happens now on the agenda? Okay, give me a second. Give me a second to drink some. Okay. No, the throat is all right. It's just dry. All right. So, how about some of these slower this time? So, yeah. Next time I should have brought my microphone and my. Anyways, it's too late now. All right. Something a little slower. How about Lala Samayi Prarthana as the last song?
Hare
Let me read the translation to this poem by Narottam Thakur. This is actually a poem of hankering. Just like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has in the Shikshashtaka. Does anyone know that Shikshashtaka verse? Which one? Nayanam Galuka. So when will that opportune moment come to me when I shiver upon chanting the name of Lord Gauranga? When will I cry while chanting Hare Krishna? When will I receive the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda so that my desires for material enjoyment become insignificant? When will my mind be purified of material anxieties? That's a big one. And desires are easier to give up than anxieties. Anyway, it's a little side note. When will my mind be... But if actually we're in anxiety about Krishna consciousness, that's not a material anxiety. If we're anxiety about the temple... Where's Vikashananda? Is he here? Yeah. Vikashananda so kindly agreed to help with my anxiety. But anyway, so we're not trying to get rid of that anxiety. When will my mind be purified of material anxieties and desires so that I can understand Vrindavan? When shall I be very eager to study the books left by the 6 Goswamis so that I can understand the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna? The lotus feet of the 6 Goswamis are my only shelter. In constant separation from them, I remain Narottam Thakur. Ki Jai. All right, so get on to the next item. Oh, the Maha Mantra. I'm going to chant more Maha Mantra. Okay. I thought we have a DD program now.
We can do later also. We just have the Pushya Abhishek and the Aarti which can go together. So whatever time you want to continue.
Well, what does everybody else want? It's just one more Maha Mantra. Simple Maha Mantra. How about that? Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Ajay, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Okay, so why don't we go to the next item on the agenda? Unless someone has some questions. Everyone's quiet. Should we go to the next item on the agenda? Which is what? The arti?
Sarati and
Pushpanjali.
Question.
Questions? Okay, we'll take some spiritual questions.
The questions you answer, I can take out the options.
What's that? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You want to take the offering off while we answer questions? Okay, so anyone have any spiritual questions that I can answer? Yes.
Maharaj, you mentioned that how material desires are more easy to give up than material anxieties.
Yeah.
Explain
Sochiti Kangshati, hankering, lamentation. These are part of material anxieties, worried about something, thinking about the future. Anxiety actually means think about what may happen. That's usually the cause of anxiety. And it means we're not really trusting Krishna. Because as Krishna states, ananyas chintayanto mam ye janak paritipasate tesham netivayuktamam ayogakshema ahamyaham. For those away, especially for the devotees, for someone who is completely devoted to me, I carry what he lacks and I preserve what he has. And Krishna personally does that with the devotees. It's an interesting story I told the other night in class. How there was one gentleman, I forget his name, a Brahmin, who was thinking, there's a problem with that verse.
Jayadev Goswami.
It was Jayadev, okay, it was Jayadev Goswami. He said there's a problem with the verse because basically Krishna does that through his energy, but in the verse he says he personally does it. So I think we need to correct the Bhagavad Gita here. Scratch out that portion of the Bhagavad Gita. So he took his little pen, it wasn't a ballpoint pen, is one of those, regular pens, and he scratched out that section of the Bhagavad Gita. Then he went to take his bath, and in the meantime, a little boy showed up at his door, and he was all scratched up. And his wife said, who did this to you? And he said, your husband. And so he comes back after some time, and he says, she says to him, there was a little boy, and he was all scratched up. What did he look like? Well, he was like blackish blue, like a rain cloud. Had a little peacock feather in his hair. And then he realizes it was Krishna. And he had actually scratched out Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is a manifestation of Krishna, so he scratched out that verse, and he understood that Krishna directly carries what a devotee lacks and preserves what he has. So we should understand that. And then also, what is that verse? Yomam pashati sarvatra sarvam chamai pashati tashaham na pranashami sacha me na pranashati. The one needs to see Krishna in everything and everywhere, and he's never lost to Krishna, nor is Krishna ever lost to him. In other words, if something happens, this is one of my favorite topics actually, if something happens to you, or is going to happen to you, that's outside of your control, then it's Krishna. If it's under your control, let's say recently there was, in the news, there was a guy who went surfing in Portugal. I don't know if you read about him. What?
Yeah. The place with big waves.
Yeah. And he died. So you can say that was Krishna. In one sense, yes, it was Krishna's external energy, but he took a chance. Or if you do something foolish, like you jump off the building or something like that, you cannot say that was Krishna. That was your foolishness. So, what's that?
How about the Tesla that went over the cliff too?
Yeah, well, that was another one.
Literally a suicide.
Yeah. No, but actually he survived.
Yeah.
He survived.
Yeah.
That's another story. But I was talking about the guy who went surfing in Portugal. They have the biggest waves almost in the world there, isn't
Yeah,
it?
they say the big.
The biggest waves. And I think the biggest wave was like, did someone ever surf, was 90-something feet high,
Yeah, something.
something like that. So anyway, apart from surfing, which I don't do, don't worry about that. If something happens outside of our control, it's Krishna. And not only is it Krishna, but he's doing it for our benefit. So that material anxiety, in one sense, means that we don't have complete faith in Krishna. That Krishna is in every atom. Krishna is the supreme controller, Bhaktaram, Jagatapasam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He's our friend, Suhridam, Sarvabhutanam, Gatwam, Shantim Richati. And that's why we're not peaceful. However, if there's some spiritual anxiety, that's purifying. Like if we're in anxiety over bringing people to Krishna consciousness, over someone else's welfare, someone else's Krishna consciousness, or the temple or something like that, that's purifying. And that sort of anxiety. Anxiety is necessary. Because if you're not in anxiety, you're in the mode of ignorance. At least spiritual anxiety. You're in the mode of ignorance because you're not trying to accomplish anything. We should be in anxiety how to please Krishna, how to please the spiritual master, how to help the devotees and serve the devotees. But as far as our own personal self, you can be in anxiety over your family, how to make your family Krishna, not make them, how to bring them to Krishna, how to attract them to Krishna. You can't make anybody Krishna conscious. But you can have anxiety over your family or some dear devotee. Right now, one of my dear friends is having an operation, Vedavyas Priya Maharaj. And I mentioned before, everyone should pray for her. So I'm in anxiety about that. It's not uncontrollable anxiety, but that anxiety is good, isn't it? That anxiety is necessary. So we're not against anxiety. We're not against anything, but what we're talking about as far as material anxiety is anxiety for one's own material self. We can be in anxiety over one's spiritual advancement, our own spiritual advancement. When will that day come? Kabi habe bolo se dinamar. When will that day be mine? Aparada guche, harinama ruche. When will that day come when I give up my offenses, when I will have a taste for the holy name? That sort of anxiety is good, and that's encouraged. But as far as, like what's going to happen in the future to me, look in the mirror, I'm old, I have that every day, I have that anxiety. Can we get a hair transplant or something? No, not really. You're losing your hair too. So, that sort of anxiety, what? Krishna's taking care. When Krishna wants us to. But we shouldn't take chances either. Prabhupada was in anxiety when the devotees were preaching in war-torn countries like Pakistan. When Pakistan and India were fighting, there were two devotees, Brahmananda and another devotee, were actually in Pakistan because Prabhupada had sent them there to preach. And basically, everyone was spitting at them. And Prabhupada was in anxiety because Prabhupada had heard some report that 2 Americans had been killed in Pakistan, which actually hadn't happened. And then Prabhupada was just pacing up and down in his room in anxiety. Prabhupada was in anxiety when he sent Tamal Krishna Maharaj to purchase the land in Mayapur. And he had all that money in his money belt. In those days, they didn't accept checks. So he had all the money in his money belt to purchase the land. Prabhupada was pacing up and down in his room and couldn't sleep. So that sort of anxiety is desirable because it's for Krishna. So we're not against anxiety, we're not against enthusiasm, we're not against music, we're not against anything. Practically everything could be utilized for Krishna. So it's a good question. So who else has a question before we proceed? Yes, the
So
question.
Maharaj, continuing on with the anxiety theme, we hear that Vaikuntha is a place where there is no anxiety.
Yeah,
So then what's the motivation there to serve Lord Vishnu?
that's interesting. That's actually very, very interesting. There's no material anxiety. The word Vaikuntha basically means without anxiety, because this material world is known as Kuntha. But there is spiritual anxiety there. There's competition, like even amongst the gopis, you have these two parties, Radharani's party and Chandravali's party, and they're having anxiety about it and competing. But that is not crippling anxiety. That anxiety is based on love. Even in the spiritual world, Krishna makes believe, in the Goloka Vrindavan, Krishna makes believe that he's going to Mathura and leaving Vrindavan, according to the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. And the residents are in anxiety. Krishna's not present before someone's eyes for a few minutes because he goes out to pasture the cows, and they're in anxiety. So, but that is not the crippling anxiety we experience in this world. We experience it when we're in anxiety in this world. It sort of like clouds the consciousness, and you can't think of anything else, basically. And your blood pressure goes up. But in the spiritual world, there's no blood pressure.
In the spiritual world, there's no existential fear. Because in this material world, anxiety is really linked to fear.
Yeah, but still there's attacks of apparent demons in the spiritual world. Devotees who act like demons. And then they're tamed. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, you find the story of a bull, Aristasura, and it's actually a devotee at that particular point because there's no demons there. But he threatens the residents of Vrindavan. Of course, there is no existential threat, as you said. But still, they're in anxiety. And then Krishna, what does he do? He tames the bull, and he gives the bull to Lord Shiva. And then you have, of course, the Keshi demon, who's in the spiritual world, and then Krishna tames the Keshi demon, and he gives everybody horsey back rides. And the Keshi demon. So, and they're in anxiety when Krishna's going to Mathura. And it's, even though there's no demons, still there is this spiritual anxiety there. I wouldn't want to live without anxiety, that sort of anxiety. Because, then it becomes like, what's that, Pollyanna or something like that, where everything is like one of those Walt Disney things, everything is beautiful, and everybody has this pasted smile on their face. It's a small world. I don't know if you've ever been to Disney World.
They call it the happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
That is if you're not an employee there.
But it's not even happy because you have to spend most of your time online.
Yeah.
Isn't it? The lines are hidden in such a way that it looks like a short line, but it actually lasts for an hour, and you have to pay for it. So we have this depiction of what we think the spiritual world should be, where everybody just has a big smile on their face and just walking around high-fiving everybody. But it's not like that. I mean, it's fun. There's no fun without anxiety. With some sort of mystery or something, striving. There's no striving without anxiety. I'm going to please Krishna. We're running to keep up with Krishna. Isn't it? I mean, but like you say, there's no problem with ending your existence in the spiritual world. I mean, you're not going to die in the spiritual world, but it's blissful. Anyway. I mean, I'm just speaking from Shastra. I don't know about these things. So who else has a question? Yeah.
When things go south,
Things go south. I don't understand that expression.
So basically, at that time, how to develop that quality of tolerance and trust and faith.
Well, Krishna says, Yasha Hamanugrinami Harisheta Dhanamchanai. Literally translated is when I favor a devotee, things go south. No, but we understand Krishna gives you what you need. He doesn't give you more than, he doesn't take away more than you actually need for your own spiritual advancement. But he takes you right to the edge. And so, yeah, it's an opportunity. I mean, I always use this example in my own life that, in the last year or two I had some health challenges that were very painful. So I took it as an opportunity to chant more. When I was in extreme pain from, kidney stones, which everybody knows about, all I could do was walk back and forth in my house all night long and just chant Hare Krishna. And it was, I can't say it was blissful, but, but it was nice. I definitely chanted a lot. So, Krishna just does that to us. And anyway, if Krishna, whatever situation Krishna puts us in, that's where we're meant to be. As long as it's Krishna, not you, putting you in the situation.
How would you differentiate whether it's like a karmic reaction or is it?
Well, I think we can see it's a token karmic reaction, but the token karmic reaction is administered directly by Krishna to help you advance. It's not a karmic reaction. It's actually Krishna reducing it in such a way to help you advance. That's all. But it's or to remind you of your past activities, but that's also to help you advance. It's not, Krishna personally takes care of his devotee. Krishna's personally with his devotee. We have to have that faith. That Krishna's in my heart, Krishna's personally arranging things.
Krishna would never do anything to harm it.
No, Krishna would never do anything to harm his devotee. And even sometimes there's very heavy things that happen to Krishna's devotees. I mean, you find in some of the temples in India, years and years ago, people defending the temples were killed.
Even now also in Bangladesh.
Yeah, in Bangladesh. And also, so,
Moving on.
yeah, that's happened. So Krishna has a plan for everybody. Krishna has a plan, so somehow or other. But everyone dies anyway. In the Battle of Kurukshetra, many devotees passed away. Isn't it? Krishna has a plan. And we don't understand the Lord's plan long term. Sometimes we understand it in retrospect. What do they say? Hindsight is 20/20. Sometimes after 20 years, we understand why Krishna put us in a particular situation. But it's Krishna. One should see Krishna everywhere and everything. Okay? Enough about anxiety. Let's have a quite positive question. What about bliss? Anybody else have a question before we proceed? It's good to see everybody. Anyway, what's that?
If others have a question, you can take it. If no one has, then
No, why don't you ask another question?
But I wanted to ask if you could share some, like in spiritual life, we may experience ups and downs, and what is the factor that can help us keep going in spite of the obstacles in our spiritual journey?
I find the factor that helps us go or keep going is attachment to Krishna's holy names. I was just hearing a Prabhupada memory. There was one really nice devotee. I don't know if you've heard his memories before. His name is Ishan. Ishan, he was in the UK for a long time serving Prabhupada. And his remembrance of Prabhupada is much more intimate than practically anybody else's remembrances. It's very interesting. It's on YouTube. Every day when I take prasadam, watch Prabhupada memories of different devotees because I find it very inspiring to help me connect with Prabhupada. So, but he was saying that he said when he asked Prabhupada, what do you do when the mind is uncontrollable and causing you trouble? And Prabhupada said, you chant. And then there was some question like, what if that doesn't work? And Prabhupada said, you chant louder. And what if that doesn't work? Chant louder. So I find that we should develop a habit of chanting Kirtaniya Sirahari. We should develop a habit of chanting basically almost, 24 hours a day if we can. What I try to do in my daily life is when I wake up in the morning, first thing I do is I start chanting. I mean, maybe I don't count the rounds or anything like that, but I start chanting when I'm going, taking a shower, when I'm, of course, brushing your teeth. You can't chant too loud, but I chant in my mind. And then when I take rest at night, I try to chant myself in my mind to sleep instead of counting sheep. Or counting, pakoras or something like that. Or an anxiety about, what's going to happen tomorrow. Then you can't sleep. I used to just count down from 100, and that worked pretty well too. You could try, but I found even better is just chanting, and then you have these wonderful dreams. And actually, before you go to sleep, read Krishna book or read a little bit from Bhagavad Gita or something about Krishna, and then you chant. Chanting the holy name is everything. It's the solution to everything. And even if you don't feel like chanting, you just chant while you're driving. I was driving here, and what was I doing the whole time? I was chanting Maha Mantra. I was singing to myself the whole time. And I felt very peaceful and happy doing that. Otherwise I'd just be thinking of the road. Of course, I also thought of the road. It's not that I, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. What's that?
That's why you can do that.
No, you can't. You can't trust it. Actually, it's done a lot of things. It's done a lot of things when it's on autopilot. It would have gotten me in trouble. Seriously, you got to be really careful. But but I was chanting Hare Krishna, melody, some melody, and it was just happy. I was so happy. I wasn't thinking of philosophy. I was just happy coming here and just chanting. And then when I go back tonight, I'll just be chanting again. Everything's there in the holy names. We have to have that faith. My godbrother Jayananda was famous for giving the same class every day, which is you got to have faith in the holy name, you got to trust the holy name, everything's there in the holy name, and also about Prabhupada. He talked about Prabhupada too. So it's like that. We just think, we could actually think the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And then when we're chanting japa, we should have some sankalpa. That means desire or request from the holy name. Lord Chaitanya teaches us to have a desire or request. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishamay bhavambudo. Kripya tava pada pankajas titaduli sadrasam pachintya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servant, but I've fallen in this horrible ocean of birth and death. Please help me. Help me. Or sometimes when we chant, we're chanting for Krishna to help someone else. Or so many things. But we should have some kalpa when we're chanting. Not just like mindless chanting. Anyway, so that's it. The chanting and the association of devotees. That will bring us up. No matter how we feel, if we absorb ourselves in the chanting and in the association of devotees, then our consciousness will come up. We won't be depressed. Okay? So I think it's time. Right?
Maharaj.
Yeah, we don't want to go too late because I do have sadhana. I'm not like most people here. Wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning. No, I know most people don't do that. But I usually try to get up early. I do get up early in the morning. Ready?
Thank you, Maharaj. So we all thank Maharaj for taking our precious time off his busy
Hari
schedule. For those who came a little late, we went to New Vrindavan on the Thanksgiving weekend, and we loved the deities at the first sight, and we brought them here. And then we had a big challenge how to welcome them. We looked for many altars, but we were not able to get an altar of our own desire, what we were looking for. And we decided to make one by ourselves.
Oh, Hari
So Ujjwal, Kirtida, we all sat together, meditated on how we get that done. First thought was, no, we cannot make it. But we said, okay, let's give it a try. And